everybody, and welcome to another episode of Positivity. And today we are delighted to have Katrina with us. Hi, Katrina.
Hello.
And where are you? Where is lockdown happening for you?
I am in Harpenden in Hertfordshire, and
Nice. There's been a strong Hertfordshire contingent, I believe, on Positivity. So there's obviously lots of happiness over there.
Yes, because it's obviously the vibe that's, the sunshine.
Yes, exactly. And you've been nominated by Ishbel as one of the most positive people in her life. So we're really excited to chat to you a little bit more today and hear what you've been up to. But first of all, obviously, this is Positivity. So we always have to have a cuppa to hand. We can see, there it is, front of screen. What's your cup of tea of choice? Is there anything in particular?
It is a strawberry and raspberry tea.
Oh,
Fruity.
wow, that's a new one. Do you always drink that?
Yeah. No, I used to drink a nice strong builder's brew, but I'm not having caffeine at the moment, so therefore I've got strawberry and raspberry.
Oh, and have you noticed the difference not having caffeine?
I did at the beginning. I had a couple of headaches, I think for the first couple of weeks, like withdrawal symptoms, because I used to drink a lot of tea. And so, now I don't have any of the headaches and things. So I think it does help. And it's just little things like my skin's cleared up a lot because I'm obviously having more water. And so I think diet does affect you in different ways. But caffeine is one of the things I got rid of.
Oh, I feel like I need to take a leaf out of your book. I don't normally drink tea, but during lockdown I've had, I don't know how many cups a day. So strawberry and raspberry is the way forward.
Yeah, strawberry and raspberry. Yeah, I'd also like, there's a one that is it Twinings do, super blends. It's a beetroot and orange.
Oh wow!
You'd never choose it because it says beetroot, but it's really yummy. I recommend it.
I like those niche ones actually. I'm a big Mr. Kipling Cherry Bakewell fan, and I think Twinings also do a Cherry Bakewell tea. So I have to try the beetroot one a bit differently. Oh, great. So what is it that you do over in Harpenden? What do you do for your work?
Well, I am not working at the moment. I used to be an art teacher. I'm now a full-time mum of 3, who I can hear about to descend on the room, so I'm thinking,
no, that's fine, we love everyone joining.
So basically I'm just at home. I was planning on going back to work, but unfortunately last September I was diagnosed with MS, and so that has kind of stopped me from doing that at the moment, whilst make sure the drug treatment works, etc., and see where I am. And so I think it's more important for health reasons, because they said that stress can be a really big thing, that if you tick all the other boxes, stress doesn't help either. So going back to work straight away would cause, you might have work stresses then, and so just whilst your body kind of tries to recuperate. And I
guess then having MS as well as the craziness of the last 3 months, you have had to adapt in a way that most people haven't even considered. So how have you managed to do that, as well as being alongside your family as well?
That's the thing. I'm shielding at the moment. So what have I done during lockdown? I'm not meant to go out at all, but we've been out for a couple of family walks in the middle of nowhere. My husband's got the maps and looked for routes where we're not going to really bump into anybody, and we haven't, and they've been lovely. And I've been on a couple of bike rides, but apart from that, I've not been out. So I've done a lot of gardening. The garden's looking a lot better than it was.
But getting out and those walks and those cycles, providing you know that you're safe, and like you said, in the middle of nowhere, that is so important for you, because being cooped up is hard for anyone. But fresh air does so much goodness.
I think it does help the fact that there is 5 of us in the family, because I think if I was on my own, I think I'd find it a lot harder. But even if I have to tell the kids off and it's, you know, because they've just been messing around, it's communication and talking. And I think that's a big thing really for me, that communication. If you're feeling down about anything, talk to someone and, you know, you'll always feel better, you know.
That's so true. I don't know if you found it throughout the last few months, but because lots of people have slowed down, the communication aspect of talking to old friends more, family members that they don't normally stay in touch with regularly, that's really helped everybody and it's reconnected everyone. Have you found that as well?
Yeah, I found that more people have definitely, yeah, we've reconnected more. You know, I still haven't lost touch with a lot of my friends from my hometown. It's quite lovely actually. There's 10 of us in a group that I went to school with, so it's a bit unusual. Most people's close friends are university, but mine are still from my secondary school. And we've done some Zoom meetings and things. We're all over the, you know, some are in America, got friends in Taiwan and Australia. So we've been doing a lot more with them, I think, because they haven't been working, or they've been furloughed, or they're at home working, should I say. And so you can ring them at any time, whereas normally you'd have to wait until they were back, and then you kind of thinking, oh, are we going to be able to talk to them? And so that's been really nice. And but yeah, I think just talking, I mean, I normally pick up the phone and chat to someone anyway, and wants to get me starting. I can't really stop.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, but I think that's, yeah, I think a lot of people have done that more. But I feel that the people that don't have Zoom or a FaceTime or Skype, they're the people that will be suffering. I mean, my mother-in-law is absolutely so thankful that we got her an iPad for her 70th. She's now 76. And she's like, if I couldn't have communicated with everybody, she doesn't know what she would have done. So yeah, she's done ukulele Zoom meetings and things, so she's loving it. So I think that it helps everybody.
I know. I mean, can you even imagine, even the start of this year, nobody really knew what Zoom was, but it's been an absolute
Yeah, they must be raking it in. I don't know how, like, I should have bought shares at the beginning. We would all be rolling in it by now.
No, that's so true. And now, have you found that with the groups of friends that you're chatting to, like the school friends you said, are there Zoom quizzes, or are they just catch-ups and hearing how everyone is? Because I know lots of people have found quizzes quite fatiguing towards the end, but it's to keep it all jazzed up, I think.
There's quizzes. We've done a couple of quizzes, but that's not with my school friends, that's with local friends. And we've done, yeah, mainly just chats. But the one thing I did do, which I thought was very cool, was he's a magician called Gareth Kalen, I think, something like that. And we were introduced to him by one of our friends who's a scout leader, and he got this magician for the scouts. And he said, oh, we should do it one night for, you know, a group Zoom. And we all went, oh, okay then. And we did it, and it was brilliant. It was so good that for my mum's 70th, which was a couple of weeks ago, I hired this guy to do a virtual magic show. It was just half an hour, but it was brilliant. Everyone was like, wow. So I felt really chuffed.
Wow, that's amazing. I definitely need to get some contact details for that, because I've been looking at doing some very different things. I mean, I heard the other day there's a farm up in Lancashire, and they have started hiring out some of their goats, and you can pay £5 for a goat to appear on a Zoom call. And apparently they're doing so well. You can have Simone, you just think, how do these people think of everything?
I think that's what's happening. A lot of people, like I've noticed on the network here, that we have a selling network. You know, people have started to do different things, so they might have been furloughed, or they've been made redundant, and so all of a sudden I saw today this person had made planters out of pallets and painted them and was selling them, and I haven't seen that before. And I was just like, that's brilliant. You know, these planters, if, you know, I don't need them, but they were really good. And I just thought, it's people are thinking of new ideas, like what can we do to make some money that's not going to cost too much to, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I also think on that, I think that now, particularly this weekend coming, whether it's small businesses or whether it's individuals, people are really going to look at where they spend their money, and they're going to help those that need it the most. So yeah, there's new creativity amongst lots of people, I think, in terms of selling. With a few people we've had, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, you were saying like getting together and things, like the local community. We've got a WhatsApp group for the street now. We never had that before. It's brilliant. But there's also one of the ladies runs a local food bank collection. So she picks up from outside people's doors that might have something every week. And there's always at least 10 people saying, oh, I've got a bag. And so it's great. So, you know, that's just off our street, and I think other streets are doing it as well. So, you know,
definitely. And I think it's that reconnecting with those that are so close to you. I mean, we didn't really know our neighbours before. I don't know if you knew your street that well, but actually this has given everyone the chance to actually embrace that.
Yeah, I think I'm the kind of person that whenever I've moved to a new place, I always introduce myself. So when we moved here, I went round and knocked on everyone's doors, and, you know, they might have like just made up excuses like, oh, have you got a window cleaner, or do you know of a babysitter? I've got young children, and just anything that could start conversation off. And yeah, so I know, I would say in the immediate neighbours, so probably, I don't know, 15 houses, I know all the people before lockdown commenced. But that's because I put myself out there. A lot of people don't want to do that. I've got a very funny story about that. When I was lucky enough to live in Norway, and we were walking up a mountain, and there was a young couple in front of us about our age. And I said, oh, Mark, we should try and catch up with them, and we should start to talk to them. And he's like, no, we are not doing that, Katrina. I was like, no, we have to, you know, it'd be really nice to meet some people our age, because I just moved to Norway to and with my husband's job at the time. And so I was like, well, if you're not going to go, I'm going. And so I pranced off up this hill, caught up with these couple. I said, oh, excuse me, would you mind taking a photograph of me and my husband? And then we just started talking, because I can't shut up. And I said to her at the end of the conversation, we must have been talking for a good half hour. I said, oh, you know, I hear you've just moved to Stavanger too. So, and I have. I just wondered if you wanted to exchange phone numbers. And that's really brave thing to do, because I thought she's either going to say, are you a bit weird? Asking for my number. I've only known you like 30 minutes. And I thought, no, I've got to do this, because I've lived in 2 other countries, and if you don't get friends straight away, it can be very lonely, or a network of just if you're not at work or you need something. And anyway, she said, oh yeah, no, that's great. That'd be great. It'd be great to see you again. And then from then on, when we lived in Norway, we probably saw each other every Friday, and we went to their wedding, and we're still friends with them now. And so that's a good 15 years ago, just because I put myself out there. But it's, you know, it's a bit like a guy saying, oh, I can't go up to that girl at the bar. You know, it's the same thing. And, you know, all they can do is say, no, it's not gonna hurt.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said at the beginning. Everything centers around communication, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's amazing. I love, as a side note, I absolutely love Norway. I went there for the first time 2 years ago, so very jealous that you've lived there.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Very cold in the winter and a bit wet, but it is beautiful. And they have a great way of life, as in they'll start at 7 in the morning for work, but they finish at 3. My husband never seemed to finish at 3. He always seemed to finish at 5, but at least he wasn't finishing at 8 or anything like that. It was earlier than normal. and then because the sun would still be up until 11:30, 12, you'd go for a walk. So he'd get back from work and then we'd go for a picnic tea up a mountain, and it would be amazing. So lovely. And yeah, normally if he did finish at 3 o'clock, a lot of the Norwegians have boats, fjords, and they just go with their families. It's very family orientated. Yeah, lovely, lovely place,
and I think
lovely
that's
people.
something that lots of people will are learning now, is that work-life balance that you can have, and actually to finish earlier and to be with your family more, you can still be as focused and achieve as much during the day. But to actually have that time and to spend that quality time, is that something you found amongst your friends, that people are doing that?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of them, well, even with my husband, because the 5:45 train in the morning, so he's never around for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Well, lunch, the kids were at school anyway, but yeah, he would be back around about 7:30, and so he kind of realized, really not so much with lockdown, but when I got ill, I couldn't really move very well, so he was around at home, and just from picking up the kids from 3 o'clock till 7 o'clock, he was like, I never realized that's actually a really long time, because it's 4 hours, but you know, he was never back for that. And so when he would get back from work, I'd be like, okay, I've done dinner, I'm exhausted, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it gives them a new appreciation of everything, and just
definitely appreciates being a housewife anyway, because with
and
all
how have your children found the last few months as well? Have they been homeschooling and
yeah, they've been homeschooling. I would say my youngest, who's 5, he's kind of oblivious to everything. He misses his friends, but he's just still like running around being chaotic, and he's still in that imagination world, playing with Playmobil and Legos. So he's in his own little world a lot anyway. You know, he's on the TV now at the moment, I can hear him. My middle one, he seems to be okay. He definitely misses his friends, he's been out a lot on the front on his skateboard, and you know, doing a lot kicky ups and stuff in the back garden, but he does miss the interaction. He's 10. And then my daughter, she's 13, and yeah, I would say that she definitely misses her friends, but because we've got such a big social media thing now with phones, you know, she's on WhatsApp sending messages, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, you know, every day. So although she doesn't see a friend, she's still chatting to them. So it's a bit different to how it would have been if we'd locked down when I was at school, because it would have killed me. I think I would have been like, oh my gosh, because my mum and dad would have, I don't think we had free phone then. I think it was still landline. You still got charged, you know, so much per minute, and so you would have been out. I wouldn't have been allowed on the phone. It would have been, right, you're allowed an hour at the weekend, that is it.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, again, just thank goodness for technology. I just
definitely
where we would be.
I mean,
and
I was going to say, if this had happened 15 years ago, you know, or no, maybe 20 years ago, it would have been a different story, definitely.
Yeah, no, exactly. And on the subject of technology, I know lots of people have rediscovered Netflix and binge watched loads of documentaries. They found new podcasts, new books. Has there been anything that you have found or discovered or rediscovered that you would recommend to everyone?
Yeah, well, Netflix programs we've watched, there was one that my husband preferred it to Games of Thrones, so that's saying something, but it's a similar type thing. It's called The Last Kingdom, and it's about the Vikings basically invading Britain, and about the King Alfred and at the time. and I got into that because I needed to know what was going to happen. It was when they pillaged that village, what was going to happen? Were they going to go and do X, Y, and Z? And so definitely got into that one. We've been recommending some other ones. There was one called Ozark, very good. We watched the first couple of episodes, but it was very dark and I just needed something lighter at the time. So that's as far as we got with that one. And the other one that someone recommended was the one with Ricky Gervais. Is it Happy Ever After?
Oh yes, I have seen that advertised.
We watched the first one of that. It's kind of I just need some really just full-on comedy, a bit like, I don't know, The Wedding Crashers or something, the film, that, or just something a bit more slapstick and light-hearted.
That's
nothing
what we've all
too
needed,
serious.
isn't it? It's positive news, positive energy, and Wedding Crashers is certainly something that can offer that.
It's just a good rom-com, really. I watched Lord of the Rings with my kids the other day because they haven't, the older two, because they haven't seen it. But I just remember when I was watching it, I was thinking, this is just a wrong film. It goes on forever. It is really good, but it could have been edited a little bit better, I think. It's very long. But it's still very good, but it's very long.
Oh no, well I might try some of those because I need to get into things like Game of Thrones, so there's some good suggestions. Thank you.
Brilliant. But I'm still one of those people that are a bit about the last season.
Oh no.
But you don't have to watch the last season. You stop at season 7. Brilliant.
Oh brilliant. Oh, thank you. Oh well, thank you so much for chatting to us today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And I think I'm definitely going to take things forward. Like, communication is so key with absolutely everybody, whether people you work with, friends, family, and so on. So thank you for all those wonderful words of wisdom. We really appreciate it. But my final question, which I ask everybody, is who would you like to nominate to be on a future episode of Positivity?
Well, the most positive person I know is a wonderful lady called Harriet Glenn, and she's got an American accent, so it'll be different. She lives in Britain, and she doesn't live in Harpenden either, or Hertfordshire.
Amazing.
But
she's
the most positive.
Why would you like to nominate her?
Sorry, we're overlapping. Sorry, she's amazing. She's just a ray of sunshine. When she walks into the room, if there was a situation, she'd lift it. She's just one of those people that oozes happiness. She really is a little Miss Sunshine. She's just wonderful. And I'm sad that she doesn't actually live in Hertfordshire anymore. She moved about 4 years ago now, but she still remains the most positive person I know.
Oh, well, I'm so excited to speak to her. So thank you very much for that. Oh, well, thank you very much for coming on, and we hope to be able to meet you face to face when all this is over. So thank you.
Oh, brilliant. See you. Have a nice day.